In this video, I'll show you the best methods to actually book 3+ sales calls a day and land high-value agency clients right now. I've personally used these exact methods to book thousands of sales calls that have landed me hundreds of clients and enabled me to build multiple 7-figure agencies. I've also tried and failed with countless other methods, so let me save you years of pain and failure and frustration and disappointing your family, and just give you the absolute best methods to use right now so that you're gonna be able to go out there and start generating 3+ sales calls each and every single day right away. So here's how it works. First, I'll show you the sales surge method to get you in front of as many people as possible. And I'll give you the exact script to use so that when you're reaching out to these people, you'll know exactly what to say and you'll be able to turn these conversations into as many booked sales calls as possible, allowing you to get your next client in the next 30 days or less. Next, I'll show you the high caliber call formula. Sorry, I did that. Anyway, the high caliber call formula is what's going to enable you to get directly in front of hot, high paying, quality leads without having to sound like a sleazy salesperson, because that ain't no fun. And finally, I'll show you the great client multiplier method that is probably one of my all-time favorite methods in order to have warm, qualified leads coming directly to me, allowing me to sign up clients faster and easier than ever before, and without requiring any kind of cold outreach whatsoever. If you're not doing this already in your agency, I promise you, this one's a game changer. So let's dive right in with the sales surge method. All right, so the story that I tell here is that if somebody came to my house and kidnapped my entire family and told me that I had to make $100,000 in the next 30 days or less, or something very bad was going to happen, well, this is the exact method that I would use in order to make that money and get them back. Dad for the win. Now, all that said, let me tell you the truth about this strategy that a lot of the gurus and so-called experts out there are trying to hide from you. First of all, the method that I'm about to discuss, it ain't fun. Oh yeah, and it's also not sexy. To make things worse, it's also not easy or passive or automated whatsoever. But it is the two things that you need if you want to make as much money as quickly as possible with your agency. And those are, it's effective and it's profitable. Oh yeah, I guess there's technically a third one, because this one's also free. Now, the method that I am talking about here is none other than, brace yourself for it, cold calling. But stick with me, because let's just do a little bit of easy math here and I'm going to show you how profitable this can really be. For example, let's say that you were to do somewhere around 100 to 200 cold calls per day with the sole intention of booking appointments. And this is an incredibly important point. The purpose of a cold call is not to convert a sale right there on that initial outreach attempt. Rather, it's to book a sales call, a sales appointment that's going to give you more opportunity to really dive deeper into their pains, problems, fears, frustrations, as well as their wants, their goals, their dreams, their desires, and really lay out a plan to help them achieve it. And all you need is a 2% conversion rate on these calls, making these cold calls, in order to book anywhere from 2 to 4 appointments per day. Now, when it comes to actually having the sales call and having the conversation with these clients after we've booked them on these appointments, essentially, well, let's say that you're relatively new to sales and you're still sort of getting your footing and you're figuring out your confidence. Well, a pretty conservative number is converting around 25% of your sales calls into closed clients. And you can see just a little bit more easy math here. If we take 25% of 2 to 4, looks like we're booking essentially 0.5 to 1 new client every single day, or every single time that we make these initial 100 to 200 cold calls. Now, I appreciate at this point, if you've never done cold calls before, or you're relatively new to lead generation in general for your own agency, and you're trying to figure out where exactly are you gonna find all these people? Well, looking at these numbers, 100 to 200 might sound like a lot of leads, especially if we have to do this every single day, day in and day out. I mean, 100 leads? Where are we gonna find these people? Well, my friend, the fact is that there are millions and millions of leads out there. It doesn't matter what niche your agency is in, doesn't matter what kind of businesses you're serving, doesn't matter who your target market is. There are millions, and if not millions, at the very least, hundreds of thousands. Even if we're dealing with the most niche down agency ever, we're still looking at tens and tens of thousands of potential leads, and you're able to find them essentially anywhere that you could possibly think of. Anything that pops to mind, your target market is present and active there, and we're going to be able to go out there and actually get them, collect their data, and then reach out to them. For example, it doesn't matter if we're talking about med spas or plumbers or roofers or landscapers or lawyers or whatever it is. We can find them on LinkedIn, we can find them on Facebook, we can find them on Instagram, we can find them on Twitter, we could probably even find them on TikTok, we can find them on YouTube. They're all active and engaged on one or more of these platforms, and many of them have their contact details baked right into their profiles. But I appreciate that's still pretty broad, so let me give you some more tactical, practical, and actionable advice that you can go out there right now in order to start building a lead list of your very own to start reaching out and contacting these people. Let's start with the obvious one, being LinkedIn. Because as everybody knows, LinkedIn is pretty much the world's B2B, business-to-business social media site. Well, the best and probably the easiest way, certainly the fastest and the cheapest one, is to simply use a people search. So we don't need Sales Navigator, we don't need to upgrade our accounts, we don't need to pay for any premium subscriptions. All we really have to do is go in and conduct a people search by typing in some relevant keywords that are going to be relevant to the target market that you're trying to get. The beauty here is that you can also narrow these things down based on location, current company, past company, what school they went to, what industry they're in, what language, opportunities they're open to, different service categories, and of course that all-important keyword, which is what's really going to enable us to make sure that we're connecting with the right people. Let's say that you want to get a little bit faster results though, and you're not afraid to throw a few dollars behind it. Well, this is where something like Facebook ads comes in really handy. This is kind of also a mandatory tool to use if you have an advertising, a marketing agency that runs Facebook ads for clients. At the very least, it's beneficial to be running some of your own ads, not only for experience and the amount of learning that you're going to get, but it also kind of proves that you're taking your own medicine. You believe in what you're doing enough to actually do it for yourself. Anyway, with Facebook ads, it's very similar. Essentially, we would select our ideal target markets, age, gender, location, any other valuable, relevant characteristics. We can choose from demographic details and geographic details and psychographic details like behaviors and attitudes and affiliations and organizations. Or we could simply leave it wide open like so many people are doing today. And we're running about 50% of our campaigns with detailed targeting and the other 50% with wide open targeting, essentially allowing the Facebook ad algorithm to do all the heavy lifting for us and allowing most of the targeting and the identifying our ideal prospects to happen in the ad copy itself. Okay, one more example, and then we'll move on to exactly what to say. And that is, of course, our good friend, Google. And ideally, what we're going to be looking for here is the Google Maps. Because what's going to happen here is all you have to do is head over to Google, type in the niche that you're going after as well as a location, something like landscapers in Phoenix, Arizona, and then you're going to be able to see all of the different listings that pop up for that. And then they've got their phone number on the vast majority of them, and all you really have to do is pick up your phone and start calling them. So with all that said, it leads us perfectly to the next section, which is, all right, now that I've got this lead list, I've got people that I can contact, what exactly should I say to them in order to turn them from somebody who's never heard of me before into a trusting and maybe someone that's at least willing to give me a chance so that I can present my case at a further opportunity. And that's where the perfect cold call script comes into play. So let me break that down for you now, and I've done that in 3 different parts. So part 1 is the opener, and you'll open it up just like this. Hey, prospect name. This would be their name, of course. This is your name. In this case, I would say Adam. From your business. In this case, I would say Agency Accelerator. How are you doing? The reason I'm calling you today is to follow up on a recent email I sent. Does the name Agency Accelerator ring a bell? Now, the opener is one of the most, if not the most important part of the entire call. And the reason is because they're making a split-second decision and judgment on who exactly is this person. Is this a telemarketer, a cold caller, a spammer, or is this somebody that actually has something that I might be interested in hearing? Now, one of the most overused pieces of cold call advice out there, and one that I strongly suggest you avoid, is starting it out by admitting this is a cold call. Essentially saying, hey, Mr. Business Owner, this is Adam. Look, this is a cold call, but if you give me 30 seconds, I promise I'll make it worth your while. Now, full disclosure, that approach can work, but it's a little bit dated, a little bit cheesy, a whole lot corny, cheesy corny. I mean, you're much better off to just be a human by asking how they're doing, introducing yourself, and carrying on the conversation. All right, part 2. The transition. So it's here that we're going to respond to however they responded to in the previous section when we said, hey, does it ring a bell? Have you heard of us? Did you get the email, et cetera, et cetera. And they're either going to say yes or no. Either way, your goal here is to simply introduce yourself and the value that you provide using this formula. Well, hey, we work with niche. In this case, it would be the niche of whatever kind of business you're calling. In my case, say it would be a marketing agency. To help them with the outcome that you help them with. In this case, it would be to help them with growing their agency, getting more clients, and essentially scaling up. And then you ask them, is the outcome that you help them with, again, in my case, this would be growing your agency, getting more clients, and scaling up, is that a priority to you? And then that leads us perfectly to the CTA, the call to action, the grand finale to wrap this whole thing up. If they respond, yes, this is a priority, well, go with option A right here. If they respond with no, not a priority, that's cool. Go with option B right here. I'll leave them up on the screen if you want to screenshot it. Otherwise, I'll make sure to put a link somewhere around the video where you can download a copy of this. Now, final note on cold calling before we go into the next strategy, and that is that the script is responsible for around 40–50% of your success on the cold call. The other 50 to 60% is the tone and the style and your delivery. If you go into these calls super hyper aggressive and overly masculine, you're gonna turn a lot of people off. But the same is true the other way. If you go in really passive, really timid, really weak, you're kind of feeling like you're in a position of need and you're begging and asking for their time, it's not gonna go well either. You need to strike that balance, that middle ground where you're someone that has something of value that you wanna share with them. That's your goal. You've got something that could potentially help them and it's your responsibility. No, your obligation to make sure that they're at least aware of it, and then they can make, of course, an educated decision all on their own. So that's exactly what I would do if someone came to my house, kidnapped my family, and told me I had to make 100K in the next 30 days. But as great as that method is, if somebody came to my house and didn't kidnap my family, but asked me to make $1 million in the next 365 days, well, the strategy I would use is actually completely different. And this next approach, in my opinion, is a better way, certainly a longer term, more sustainable way to get even more high quality leads that will snowball and accumulate and compound over time. So now let me share with you the high caliber call formula. Now, unlike cold calling, the high caliber call formula is actually more fun. It does leverage technology. All kinds of automation. It also shifts the power dynamic, turning you from a pushy, sleazy salesperson into a trusted advisor by delivering value up front. And most importantly, just like with cold calling, I guess, well, it's effective and profitable. Technically, it's not free because there are some minor software costs, but they're well worth the investment as they typically provide outrageous returns. So here's how it works. First, you want to find all of your ideal prospects and clients on social media using the methods that we discussed previously, whether through LinkedIn or Facebook ads or Google or buying a lead list or building one yourself or general prospecting, anything you can think of. It's all fair game. Next, you're going to conduct an audit of their marketing, of their business, of their online presence, and we're going to use software in order to do this, which is going to save you a ton of time and allows you to present a very professional looking report to your potential clients. And then finally, you're going to email them this report and you're going to follow up with a phone call in order to make sure that they actually received it. Now, this video is not sponsored. That said, I do use software for this, and it's the exact same one that I've been using for years now in order to help me grow and scale multiple seven-figure agencies. It's also the one that we use inside of the Agency Accelerator program and teach all of our students to do the same. So I'll make sure to put an exclusive link down in the descriptions below this video that's going to get you access to an extended free trial, a whole bunch of snapshots and funnels and websites, free trainings, free courses, all kinds of goodies, or you can simply visit highlevelguide.com. Either one is going to take you to the same place. And again, not sponsored, but truly amazing, powerful software that I use every single day. Also, side note here, if you're already using High Level inside of your agency, we'll still make sure to check out the link because it does have some pretty cool upgrade features if you decide to upgrade your account to the next level, and you'll get a whole bunch of bonuses that go along with that. So just like we did before with cold calling, well, let's do the math real quick here on sending these Loom video marketing audits to potential clients. Let's say that it takes you around 3 to 5 minutes in order to conduct one of these audits for a client. Over time, you get significantly faster, but at first it's going to be a little bit longer than this while you figure out exactly what to say and how to do it. Now, using this as our benchmark, well, this means you can send around 60 to 120 in a 4 to 8 hour day. And carrying on with our basic math, let's say that we round out at about 100 looms a day. We get a 10% response rate. This means that we've got now 10 potential calls. and potential clients. And of course, if we can convert even 25% of them, that's 2.5 clients. I mean, even if we were to take these numbers and slash them in half again and say, forget 2.5, we're gonna get 1.25, or forget that even, we're gonna get, I don't know, 0.5, whatever it is. The point is that by following this system, we're still able to book a significantly large amount of sales calls with potential clients. And as long as we've got even half decent sales skills, things that can be learned and improved over time, we converted around 25%. Well, this allows us to add a brand new high paying client to your agency every single day or every 2 days. But I mean, even imagine if we just messed everything up and all we got was one new client a week. Well, we're still adding 4 in a month, then 4 the next month, then 4 the next month. And provided we're doing a good job getting them results, our retention stays, we end up making a whole lot of money very quickly. And this is literally one of the exact systems that I've used to scale multiple million-dollar agencies. Simply wash, rinse, repeat everything that I'm sharing with you here. Of course, there is a way to take everything that we've just done and put a little gas on the fire to essentially multiply it. And what better way to multiply it than with the great client multiplier formula? So let me walk you through that now. First, let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a client that was just so amazing, so nice and kind and valuable and courteous that you just wish that every single one of your clients was exactly just like them? Because then your agency would grow, life would be easy, you'd get amazing results, and you'd make a whole lot more money? Well, if so, I have good news. Because here's the thing. Good people typically know other good people, which means that good clients typically know other good clients. I mean, I know you've heard these cliches before, but they're worth repeating. Birds of a feather flock together. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Misery loves company. Actually, that last one's a good example to avoid bad clients like the plague. Basically though, good people tend to hang around other good people. So if you can attract even one of them into your agency as a paying client, the odds are pretty good that they know other people that would also benefit from the services you offer and that you would like to work with. So one of the best ways, and certainly fastest and easiest and most profitable ways to get more high paying clients is to simply clone your already existing best clients. Now, in the business world, this is generally known as a referral. So you could simply just ask them, hey, do you know any other people just like you that might want to hire us? But let's be honest, that's a terrible request. It's broad, selfish, it's kind of boring. So with that said, there is obviously a right way and a wrong way to do this. The wrong way being that example that I just gave you, or even worse, not asking at all, which is sadly what most agency owners do, never asking for referrals, never asking for testimonials or case studies or any help whatsoever. Madness, I tell you, madness. But the right way, it's powerful. And for that, I like to use a little system I learned from Phil Jones that goes like this. You wouldn't happen to know just one person, someone who just like you, who would benefit from. Let me break this down line for line and show you why this is such a genius strategy. Starting with the first one, you wouldn't happen to know. You see, this is a non-confrontational challenge question. It's something that doesn't put them on the spot immediately and makes you and them feel uncomfortable and awkward if they can't think of anybody, but rather allows you to come back later and also allows them to think about it and get back to you. The next line, just one person, is an amazingly powerful line because it doesn't overwhelm them by asking for 3 referrals or 5 referrals or heaven forbid 100 referrals. But more powerful than that, it also makes it clear and specific, meaning that they're probably going to be able to think of one person and then follow up with them, which is far more likely to happen than trying to maybe piece together 3 or 5 potential fits that are unlikely to convert. The question I like to ask here is, would you rather have 1 referral by asking for 1 referral or no referrals by asking for 5? It's not a trick question. You want to go with the 1. The next line, someone who, just like you, is both flattering and a compliment by showing them that you care about them and they're the kind of people that you like, but also sets them up for success by showing them exactly the kind of referral that you're looking for. Someone who's just like them. Then lastly, would benefit from, and just insert whatever benefit that you gave them with your service. This line also has 2 benefits in that not only does it show them the kind of people that you're looking for in regards to the benefits that they want to experience, but it also reminds them of just how awesome you are by restating all of the benefits of the service that you provided up to this point. Now, after over a decade of doing this, by far one of the biggest things that I see that stops people from getting referrals is simply not asking for them. One of the biggest things though about requesting referrals is that in order for them to work, you have to ask for them. It's crazy. I know. So you want to make sure that you find a way to implement this into your agency SOP, your standard operating procedures, to make sure that it doesn't get forgotten and it actually gets acted on. And if you do that, as well as the other tips that I've shared with you here, you will book 3+ sales calls per day, every day, so long as you put in the work and don't give up. Lucky for you, you're already way ahead of the curve because most people can't even focus enough to make it all the way through one of these videos. So to reward you for your attention and your focus, I want to share with you my 10K agency blueprint for completely free that's going to give you the next steps that you need in order to start building and scaling a very profitable and successful agency of your very own. It's going to help you dramatically cut down your learning curve, skip all the fluff, and get straight to making money fast. Also, if you're curious how we help agency owners scale to 6 and 7 figures, I'll make sure to link that up down in the descriptions below this video as well. And if you're looking for even more agency growth strategies, I've got another video linked up for you right here that you can tap or click now. So make sure to do that, and I'll see you in there in just a second.